Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode of Kevin's Fate Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Davis, and you know me by now. I'm an entrepreneur, content creator, author, and other different hats that I've said 1,000 times over. But today's guest is my honorary cousin, Ed Davis. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm living. I'm tired, the creative process and everything. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm living. But this is the first time ever because you're on my show this time. I'm always
Yeah.
on your show, so this is I'm
hmm
like I've been on your show like 1,000 times by now. But now the roles have reversed. So, welcome to
Yes.
my crazy world.
Yes.
Before we
Thank you for
get
having
into
me
like the
in.
work and nitty gritty, tell us a bit about who you are and like what you do, man.
So I'm Ed Davis. I am the founder of Finish Line Comics, where I self-publish 3 different titles, and I teach full time and write whenever I get the chance to squeeze it in. And the beauty of being a teacher is right now is summer break, so I've knocked out 3 scripts already and working
That's
on
good.
my 4th one. So my goal every summer is to just really get myself ahead. So if
Yeah.
because work and life get busy, and if
Oh
that's the
yeah.
case, then I have enough done to cover me for the rest of the year, and that's where I stand right now.
My sister's a teacher, so I understand the feeling.
Mhm.
Like, how do you balance that between being a teacher and also a comic writer and running your own publishing company? 'Cause I know that's a headache by itself.
It
Like, how
is.
do
I
you
mean, it
balance that?
it's a fine line. I mean, you have to really work on getting your time management down. So I look at when I'm teaching full time, I make sure I get to the library at least once a week. That's about the only thing I can do with any kind of consistency. And then I use breaks. I mean, it's like, okay, the kids are at recess and I'm going to spend this next 15 minutes getting some stuff written. So I have a notebook that I leave in my classroom, and I will do all kinds of kind of more outlining. I can't get into a really good flow when it's a 15-minute break. But if I know, okay, I'm about to finish up an issue, I can kind of outline what the next one's going to look like. Or if I have any kind of crazy story ideas, I can start working on those. And I have actually finished one short story in the classroom during recess breaks.
Holy
I
smokes,
did one for
nice.
the Tales from the Collective initiative that Travis Gibb
Ah,
put out.
yeah.
And I wrote a little 6-page short story for Immortal Era, and it was entirely composed in my classroom.
It's freaking amazing. Man, and speaking of Immortal Era, for new audiences, give us like your elevator pitch of what Immortal Era is about and how did you come up with this story?
All right, so the story hatched when I was in college. It goes all the way back to that. And I was in an English lit class, and we were reading excerpts from, just so many different authors from different time periods of England and America. And I remember we read this little excerpt of Gulliver's Travels, and in it we see this story where Gulliver travels to an island where everybody's become immortal, and he discovers right away that this immortality is not great. The people are still aging, they're just kind of hiding the people that are hundreds of years old and miserable. And it just hatched this idea in my head of, let me create a world where everyone is immortal. So that's the basic premise of Immortal Era.
Mhm.
It's 200 years in the future. Every
Always
person
runs
has
nice.
gained immortality, but this immortality doesn't come with any kind of special powers or special abilities. They just move along and age, get sick like they normally would in the real world. But the problem in this world is they just won't die. So you could have cancer, you're going to live with it for
Uh,
hundreds of years. You could
oof.
get your arm cut off, you're going to live through it. We have a character who's had his whole body cannibalized. All that's left is the head, and he's forced to live on. So it centers on a group
Ouch.
of heroes who are just trying to find any way that they possibly can to restore the natural life cycle, bring death back, and save humanity by killing them.
Trades now. How many issues so far as like in singles that you've
We're
done so
doing
far?
this is our right now the campaign that I have as the new trade, which is issue 7 through 12, and then the single issue 12.
Nice.
So we're on issue 12. The plan is for it to be a 24 issue series. So this puts
Oh,
us
so you're
right at that
halfway
halfway
there.
point.
Wow.
hmm
That is a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this campaign up since it's live now. Can you see that?
Yes,
Awesome. We're on issue 12 and volume 2 of the graphic
yes.
novel, and it's legit halfway mark of getting funded, 17 days left. And
Yeah.
guys who's watching this, make sure you back this campaign is in the video description of this episode while you're watching. Like give us like a like I'm really curious. Is there like a character that like surprised you as you was writing the character and developing the story since you're 12 issues in now?
So the main character of the story, the one you see right there,
Hmm.
initially I was writing this as a book that was going to be from her first
Ah,
person point of view. So she
yeah,
was kind of the center of the whole series and what would have been at the time probably like 2 to 3 books to tell the story. And it was all
right.
written in first person. So my earliest notes go back to first person from her perspective. And then it was years later. I mean, we're talking probably 2017 or so that I talked
Gotcha.
to a comic artist. He was actually the librarian at the school that I work at. Graduated from the Kubert School
Wow.
in that's New Jersey, and we were just kind of talking story ideas, just throwing each other ideas back and forth while we're sitting and having lunch. And I told him this idea, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, we have to turn this into a comic book. We have to make a comic series out of this." So I went in, took my initial notes for the series and just started adapting them all into comic scripts. So the the story, I think it was about I think I had about 200 pages written of the what would have been the novel, and I've written the end of the story. I've written notes to know the entire all the major beats that are going to happen. So with that said, I just started adapting what was already there into comic script, and of course while you're doing that, it's almost like rethinking the whole story because these are notes that go back to 1998. So it's these notes go so far back that I did definitely change some things, but the beginning remains exactly as it was written in the novel. It still opens with the flashback to the year 2000 when we see the first night of immortality, and we have this reporter who breaks into a hospital room and is just reporting all of these people that should have been dead, car accidents,
Mhm.
shootings. All of these people shouldn't have lived through it, and they're just stuck in this eternal misery. And he's reporting that, and that is how the novel opened, and that's how the comic opens as well. So that's the one piece that didn't change at all. But my first draft of the comic was so spoilery. I just went into this kind of here's the universe and here's everything that happens, and gave up
Yeah.
so many big moments. It would have basically there would have been no more holy crap moments because the first issue just gave them all away.
Ah, right.
So
Oh
fortunately,
my
I sent
god.
it to a publisher who ripped me a new one and said,
Oh wow.
backstory can't be the story. You have an interesting universe, but this doesn't work. And I just went through and changed everything. And I'm thankful for that because some of these big reveals, they happened in issue 9 or 10. And to give
Oh
them all up in
snap.
one issue, it would have
Yeah.
been, I mean, I still could have told the story, but it just would have lost those compelling moments as I just flushed them all away in the first 24 pages.
Right. Right. Oh my gosh. And when you turn this to a comic, did you already know it was gonna be like 24 issues? Or was there like a
Um,
moment you was like, okay, I can stop here, but then you was like, no, I can continue it. Like you know how your
I
brain just goes back and forth. Uh,
yeah, I
yeah.
looked I looked at all the points, the major moments in the book. And at first I thought, okay, it's going to be 30 issues. And it might still end up being that, but what I thought was four 6 issue collections, I think, is where I can tell the story. There's a lot of little side stories I can tell and release those as one shots throughout. So it might still
Nice.
end up making it to 30 issues, but it would be 24 of the core story. So we've already had our first
Nice.
issue in in the series was the backstory of one of the main characters in in the book named only known as Father. And he's the one that's
Ah,
rescuing these children that are abandoned into the subway system, left there to be taken by the cannibals. And he's rescuing them. And we get his backstory, and issue 9 is just his backstory. So there will be
that makes
more ones
sense.
like
Nice.
that. So the core story will be the 24 issues, but maybe at least I know issue 14 is going to be another backstory issue that's going to be another main character's full backstory. So we'll be doing
Mhm.
that, which could make it go to 30, but my goal is 24.
Nice. And just to be clear, on this Kickstarter, you have
Mhm.
singles and the trades, right?
Yes. So I have the
So,
trades. I don't have a lot of the early singles. I have them as
gotcha.
add-ons for people who want those
Okay.
because some of those are near selling out. I think I have
Wow. Okay.
3 copies of issue 5 left, maybe
Gotcha.
5 or 6 copies of issue 4. So a lot of the early floppies are almost sold out. I have plenty issue 1, plenty of issue 2, and beyond that it's more sparse. So I have those as add-ons cuz I couldn't even put together like a single issue catch-up tier cuz I don't have enough of
Ah,
the back issues to pull it off. Maybe I could put one of those up. I could add that as a reward where there's just one available.
yeah. That makes total sense. Okay. And this is beautiful, by the way. I need to go back up right quick while you was talking.
Mhm.
Could you actually like give us like what's happening in this certain scene right now? As,
So what happens is the characters are on a mission to find relics. They know these relics, if
okay.
they collect them all, will bring death back into the world. And they've gone to the headquarters of where the this robotic police force is centered. And they're trying to get this relic and shut down the headquarters. So we see they got to the headquarters and all 3 got intercepted by big foes. So they thought the mission was going smoothly, and now all 3 are just in mortal peril and trying to find a way to first off just survive this situation with any bit of cognitive function left and still retrieve the next relic that they need to continue their quest.
Ah. And when you was like crafting this story, was there like any books or movies or TV show like that could like inspire your imagination to when you was crafting your storyline?
I mean, it started with the Gulliver's Travel story, but there's also, I think it's Pierce Anthony writes a series called On a Pale Horse, and it's
Ah, I know
a
that one.
novel
Yeah.
series where gets death stops and people become terrible immortal. And that book was
Interesting.
something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that book series inspired this story as well. So I would say the Gulliver's Travel story and that were the kind of pieces that I looked at when I started crafting this.
And when you have like time to like write your stories, I know like some people like myself, we have like music and like the background, like the instrumental
Mhm.
music in the background while we're writing. What's
Yeah.
like your creative process, like get you in like I guess like the mood, like to get your mind inside your character's head while you're telling your story. Like you got like music in the background, or
I
there's like something
do.
that helps get you in the atmosphere. If I'm trying, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
My routine, I try to start any writing day with a short run to kind of clear my head of everything from whatever game you're playing with on your phone or social media. So I'll go out, I'll do a short run, 3 miles or so, and that's just
Nice.
kind of like clear the palate, get the brain all ready to write, and then I love, a genre called post rock, which is all instrumental, and it's called post rock because it's music, the kind of music that would soundtrack the post-apocalyptic world. So I
Gotcha.
love to
Yeah,
go for
yeah.
this instrumental post rock, and I'll play that as kind of the background to build the story when I'm actually writing it.
Wow. And this is like certain themes, like messages that you have like in your story that you think fans will pick up or you want them to pick up on while they're reading your story?
I think, yeah, there are messages. I mean, we see this in this particular world, it's definitely making a statement about immigration and closed borders and things like that. I try not to be overtly political, but it's, if you look, you can see that. You can also see kind of the importance of family, finding family through the most dire of circumstances. That's another thing that we see in this. There's a group of people, they live in a terrible situation. They're in an underground, abandoned subway. They're having to fight off attacks every single night, but they still have this feeling of home, this feeling of family and love, and finding hope through the grimmest of situations.
That's freaking awesome. And now we're gets like some fun questions a bit. If you could like interview one of your fictional characters in this world, who would it be and why? And what would you ask them?
Wow. I think, excuse me. I mean, if I interviewed the main character, she would just be angry because she's very upset. This whole situation, what we see is right now she's yelling at one of the characters because the character you see is actually the one with the beard. He's the person who caused immortality to happen. So she holds it very
Wow.
she's very bitter against him for what he did. So you don't want to interview her. She's doing this quest. She's kind of forced into action and not very happy
Makes
about it. But
sense.
I would interview the character father, who's not we don't see him in these pages right now, but he's the one that is dedicating his life to rescuing these children, building a home, a village, and family. And I would just kind of talk to him about what what made him want to not just continue surviving, but actually build something real and sustainable in this broken world.
Nice. And now I want to like get into more about you as a writer.
Mhm.
Did you always know, like from the beginning, did you always know you wanted to be a writer before you became a teacher, or did they kind of like come at the same time?
I think one of the perks of going into teaching is that you do end up with a lot of free time to write. So that was one of the things is I always knew I wanted to write. I've been just, I'm writing stories since I was very young and always kind of crafting crazy worlds and crazy tales. And I always knew that writing was something that I wanted to do. So that was the good thing about going into teaching is okay, you're going to have time off. You're going to have these months where you can, I do it where I do the thing where you can take your pay and divide it into 12 months because otherwise I wouldn't be paid over the summer or Christmas break. So I know I'll get a paycheck. So I don't have to worry about, oh, I have to sign up for summer school and all of these different things. So knowing that, I look at it as if I went into teaching, I mean, there were other reasons I wanted to go into it aside from this, but one of the big factors was I can spend huge amounts of my time writing. I will have summer breaks, I'll have winter breaks, I'll have, you know,
Yeah.
time off that I know I can dedicate full time to writing. And that's what this summer has been. I usually go to the library 2 to 3 times a week and just I set the goal, finish 4 scripts, and at the rate we're going, I'll be there at the very end of the summer. So I know I have that time and it can keep things like this moving and still know that I'm able to pay the bills every month.
Mm. And what's like a misconception like a lot of people don't get if they try to like break into the industry as a writer or like as an artist? Like, what do you think like the big? Because I know there's like been like a huge debate around online, like random questions like, does world building matter, or like something like that, like simple as that. Like, what do you think? Like, there's a lot of misconceptions around in this industry.
I think I think honestly, a lot of people don't they underestimate the cost of creating a comic book. And I mean, I could every con I do, I inevitably have one or two people coming up and saying, "Oh yeah, I have this great story idea and I'm going to turn it into a comic book too." And tell me what I need to know. And I think first off, remember there are people out there that can help you along the way. You don't have to be It's not self-sustaining. You can work and you can get other people who will help you along the way, but you don't think that you're gonna come from nothing and raise big money in a Kickstarter. It's not
That
you
part.
don't you see these people getting 10, $20,000 on Kickstarter. They've done it over multiple years of building their
Yeah.
audience, and it's not like, "All right, cool, I'm gonna launch a Kickstarter and I'm gonna get $5,000 right away." It doesn't come that easy.
It does
So
not.
make sure you put money away before you decide you want to go into comic creating. I saved before I started anything. I was just writing first, and I put away $5,000 before I did anything, so I could afford the costs that come with creating a book, not putting it into anybody else's hands. So that when I did my first Kickstarter, I could set a very low goal, knowing that the books were already printed, the artwork was already done. I was just getting them out to people almost like it was a little storefront instead of thinking this is going to make or break me. And the
Yeah.
people that will always say like, "Oh, if this Kickstarter doesn't succeed, then you're not gonna get this book." Don't do that. Be ready. I mean, my thought is always be ready before you even start. That's why for this
Ooh,
book,
that part.
all of the
That part.
artwork is already complete. So with or without the Kickstarter succeeding, the book's ready to go. And it'll come out one way or the other. Of course, you want the Kickstarter to help offset the costs that come with the printing, but you don't want to say, okay, if this doesn't work, then the book's just dead. You want to make sure that you're ready without the help of anybody else to get this thing into the world.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people tend to like give up so quickly. When like for example, if their book doesn't fund on Kickstarter, they just instantly give up on it.
Hmm.
And my last Kickstarter was Holofin. It didn't fund,
Hmm.
but I never gave up on it. Right? I just
Yeah.
delayed it for right now. And plus, and I just looked at it. I'm like, okay, it wasn't the right time to bring it out. I will rehash it and make it
Yeah.
better, and then I plan for like the next time I bring it out and see. And plus, there was like a million other stories that came out at the same time as I launched that one. So, but even though like it's hard to launch on like a particular date because everyone has a story to tell, and it's a hard industry to to deal
Yeah.
with.
Oh, absolutely.
um, and And with you doing this for a while now, what's like some advice you can give to like upcoming writers and artists that want to like bring their story to life and like and also it's like some encouragement not to let them know not to give up because their time will come. Like what's some advice like risk you could give somebody
I mean,
like
you
who's
definitely
ever watching?
Yeah, you can't give up. What's gonna happen is not gonna be easy. You're not gonna instantly drop a book and Marvel's gonna come knocking on your door. So you need to know
Exactly.
that the most important thing should be telling your story. The passion for telling the story, the love of, you know, letting people read the story that you've created. If you're doing this for the big payday, it's not the right reason. So do it for the love of your story, for the love of creating, not for, the payday. Maybe a payday will come. Anything can happen. You look at books that have been picked up by Netflix or any other kind of streaming services, and it happens. I mean, an indie book can end up becoming the biggest thing. Look at the Ninja Turtles. I
Yeah.
mean, they're
Yeah.
kind of your success story of look, they did it all on their own, and now they're a billion-dollar franchise, but that didn't come overnight. It took years of toiling, and don't let the first hardships deter you from continuing your story.
Oh yeah. And using you an example, you're 12 issues in your story, and this proves that hard work does pay off because not even many people make it to like issue 3, or you're halfway through your series.
Yeah.
and you're like a prime example and inspiration to me actually, because I'm only 4 years into the industry,
Mhm.
and talking to creators like you, like, really inspired me to keep going because I'm like they doing a lot, like you guys don't been doing longer than me, but I'm like I come from a family that we don't have the word quit in our vocabulary or in my
Mhm.
blood. I was like I doesn't like I'm at the point I'm 4 years in. I'm like I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to bring my stories to life.
Yeah.
Like that's just how my mindset goes,
Mhm.
and I want to like encourage others. I'm like, you just have to build that determination, build that tenacity. I'm like, I mean, if you really want to get into this industry, you have to have one, you have to have a backbone and some thick skin because one, there will be those that will criticize. I mean, you get criticism everywhere anyway, but you have to have that backbone because one, you can't please everybody, and you shouldn't try to please everybody. And
Yeah.
if you're trying to get this industry to make money, you're not in this industry for the long haul, man, because you're in it
No.
for the wrong freaking reasons. And
I mean,
I was
you
like,
look at
I
the
got it.
writers, like the Marvel writers, the DC writers, they've been
Yeah.
in it
Oh
for
god. They.
so many
Oof.
years. It's not like, oh,
Oh
Marvel
yeah.
just said like, here, out of nothing, we're gonna pick you up. You have like Scott Snyder, who's been writing stories so long. I mean, and every one of these creators, they have to toil. I mean, nothing comes
Yeah.
easy. I mean, once in a while you can get lucky. I mean, you lightning, you can get that lightning in a bottle, but that's gonna
Mhm.
be a lot less likely to happen.
And also, by the way, as I'm going through these pages on your Kickstarter, I'm so sorry if
Mhm.
let me pick it back up. But
Yeah.
dude, I love how you break down each issue. It lets you know how the story is going.
Yeah.
And looking at these, I think covers or prints are
These are
freaking
covers, yeah.
beautiful. Okay, covers. And just looking at the progression of how the story goes. I've actually never seen a Kickstarter like this at all, breaking down each issue, letting people know this
Yeah.
is where the story is and how it got to. Um, and actually, let's break down these covers. Like, what's going on right now? Because this is freaking
Alright,
cool,
so
by the way. Let's go back
what
to issue
this
one.
this is issue 1, and issue
Okay.
1, my main objective for the cover was to introduce our core team. So we
Okay.
see the 4 main heroes. This cover is what I have for my backdrop behind me, you can see it. I have another one that I take to Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
So this is my main one
Nice.
because
Yeah.
these are our big characters. Now, obviously, we're on issue 12. There have been other major characters introduced, but this is the main 4. These are the 4 that the story's going to drive through. So you have Ari,
Not
the
to do a,
one who's
I
in
mean, not to do a
front,
Scream reference, but this is the core
mhm,
four.
the core 4. So there you go. Yeah. So you have Ari in the front, Miguel,
Okay.
he's the one behind her, and then Kimberly, and then Father as well. And
Ah, nice.
these were the main characters. So I wanted the first cover to really show you who this team was. And then the alternate cover of
Nice.
this had Ari standing against a train, writing in her
Holy
journal
smokes.
because the original, that's a nod to the original novel, which was going to be her journal in first person. So that cover's
Yeah.
long sold out, but it's actually I have
Wow.
that design on some of my t-shirts and things like that.
That is very clever how you do that. That's very smart. Huh. And this is I'm guessing
This is
villains of issue
this is
two?
issue 2, and we see the introduction of our villains, yes. So,
Ah,
the
nice.
one in the front, the woman, her name is
Okay.
Tristessa, which means sadness. That's the
Okay.
translation of it, and she and the man that you see walking are the ones that cause immortality to happen. So, we have this one, which
Wow.
is this covers kind of issue 2, I don't waste any time. It immediately explains the cause of immortality, and
Ah,
from there,
nice. I bet.
shows the quest that needs to go for the remainder of the series.
Mhm. Gotcha. And who's the other two up here?
The Ari, and then the Grim Reaper himself.
Heck yeah, dude, this is awesome.
And that's
And
the one
just
thing about
the
issue
art is so cool.
Oh yeah, the art team does an amazing job, and
Man.
with issue 2, it brings the magical part to the story because issue 1 has no kind of magic or anything like that, where this one we get the magic, so we can see it's going to be kind of a intersplicing of gritty post-apocalyptic world and, magic and witches and covens and things like that.
Nice. And I guess that's like the cannibalistic man you mentioned at the earlier in the
He's the one
episode.
who had his
But
body cannibalized, so we see this
yeah,
cover introduces us to his name is Dr. Man,
Doctor
and
Man,
he
gotcha.
he is kind of one of the leaders of the village, and this one gives his backstory. So we find out what brought him to the underground, how did he end up cannibalized. So that's what issue 3 is all about.
Nice. And you say you mentioned that you do not waste time. And do you think in like a lot of stories, people draw out way too much and they just like lose the interest of readers?
I think some people take too long to get there. And
Uh,
I think there's also a difference between, if you're a monthly publication, you can
yeah,
take a little bit more time. But
right,
seeing as I'm doing everything myself and it turns into more of a, two, three issues a year essentially, it takes a
right.
lot longer to get there. So if I drew it out, we're talking it could have been 3 years before we found out, and I just didn't want to do that to people.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Nice.
So
Holy
this is
smokes. This almost looks
this is
3D,
issue.
by the way.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover. So this is our fourth issue, and in this issue, our main character is able to get to the surface, and she has to go try to retrieve these microchips that people put into their arms to allow them to
Oof.
walk freely on the surface. So she has to go battle uh, one of the deadlier foes that we've seen that got introduced in issue 1, and basically it's her first time leaving her home underground, and it does not go as easily as planned.
Nothing's ever easy in this world.
Mm.
Wow. Issue 5.
So this is issue 5, and this kind of moves the quest closer to its conclusion. Well, actually, beginning, I should say. We're not near the conclusion yet.
Gotcha.
And then on
Gotcha.
the top, you see another major villain reintroduced, because this was a villain from issue 1 who our main character shot him, blew his arm off, but in this world, you'll live through it and you'll come back
Mhm.
stronger and angrier.
Oh boy. And I've always learned that like the advice I've always been given is like when each cover you do, make sure the cover tells your story before someone opens it.
Hmm.
And is that kind of how you kind of follow how you had your covers made? You want each
Yeah,
cover to tell a story, letting you
that's
know what,
kind of how.
letting the reader know what they're getting into.
Mhm.
Nice, I love that. And I also love how the progression of each cover. I'm like it gets worse and worse by like each
Yeah.
cover, like as in story wise, like
Mhm.
worse as intense. Like that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
try to say. Holy smokes, what is happening here?
So this is a major one of the other major villains of the story, and Father is fighting him because this character in issue 6 invades the village and is trying to destroy the village because he knows that the other characters have left. The other characters are on a mission trying to find this first relic, so it's left the village without its strongest warriors, so he's capitalizing on that and trying to take over. But we discover later as the story progresses that this character and Father have a huge history. And there's a lot of my big moments are going to involve these two right here.
Uh-oh. Oh, in issue 7, and it's like it's getting more emotional.
So issue 7, we see the aftermath of the attack on the village. So it's
Oh,
kind of an issue where issue 6 was big on action. It's, there's our three of our heroes are up on the surface. They're battling our main villain, Tristessa, trying to get this relic, and then Father's trying to protect the village. And issue 7 is when our characters return to the village to see just how much damage has been done. So we see the
Oof.
cover tells the story. It shows us
Oh
that
yeah.
there's there's an emotional impact that needs to be seen. It's where we kind of hit the brakes
Yeah.
on the action so that we can just live in the moment for for an issue.
Wow. And when you're like writing your story, do you like make sure your character's like relatable to somehow to like your potential audience that reads your story? Yeah, I know like a lot of people kind of like grasp like when I'm reading stories, like watching movies and stuff, they want
Mhm.
to like be they want to like relate to the character, like if that
Yeah,
makes sense. And like,
that
do you
is
feel like that? Like,
something.
did that how like movie or story, like trying to find like some way how the character be relatable somehow?
You have to make each character lovable in their own way. And I think that's what I try to do. And then you have also the thing of here are these characters and you're going to relate to one or the other. And it's funny when you're at a con, someone will come up to you who's read your book and they're going to tell
Mm.
you, "Oh my gosh, I just love this character." And it's never the one you expect. Like I always expect people to say, "Oh, I love Father." I know some people love Miguel. Most people do not like Rob Rockford. He's the one in the trench coat. And Dr. Mann has done a lot of things to become less likable, but this one kind of shows that all the pieces that we've seen have all come together. So Tristessa's back as a player in the story. Rob has reintroduced himself into the story, and now all of these characters are together and are working on their own part of the quest. We have one person, the witch,
Wow.
who's trying to do anything she can to keep this immortality. And we have the other people who are trying to stop it. And like him or not, they're forced to use the character Rob Rockford, who caused this whole immortality to begin with, because there's reasons they need him and can't complete it without him.
Wow. The progression just is freaking phenomenal. And you said these are actually on some shirts, right? I believe you
Some are,
said
yeah. I think I have
some
shirts
are
of pretty much anything you've seen. There's a shirt of. I have. I
nice.
think I have like 17 different shirt designs. So if you
Nice.
go to the Kickstarter, that's why it says a shirt of your choice. And then when I do the
Ah,
survey, it'll have the pictures of all the different shirts. And if people bought a
yeah.
shirt, then they can choose the design that they want. So this is issue
Nice.
9, and this was the one that I said is an entirely it stops the quest for just an issue and gives us the
Yeah.
backstory of
That,
Father. We see the
ah,
origin of the character that was on the issue 6 cover and why, even though Father is the hero of our story, why he's the villain of his.
this is freaking beautiful. And I forgot to ask, how many
Yeah.
like pages is the book, like from singles to the graphic novel?
The singles, they
Yeah.
vary between 24 and 32. So the issue
Nice.
9 that you just saw right there, that's a 32-page issue. Because the story was too
Nice.
big. I started it at 24 and like, nope, we'll make it 28. Then nope, let's make it 32 because it just kept going. And that is one of the
Oh
beauties of
yeah.
doing it independently is you control
Yeah.
your own fate. You're like, all right, I need 32 pages. I'll make it 32 pages. You're not
Yeah.
told by a publisher, like, sorry, it has
Oh
to be
yeah.
24 or 22 because we
Mm.
got to throw in some ads.
But yeah, that was about to be my next question. Like, do you like already know how many pages you need for the story, or do you like figure out as you're writing it?
I always start at 24 and see where it goes from there.
That makes sense.
So
That makes sense.
24 sometimes will grow, sometimes it's never shrunk. 24 is where everything lands, but it's
Oh
also
yeah.
because that's how they print books. They print them in
Uh,
fours. So
yeah.
since I don't have people paying me for ad space, I kind of set out to make 24 and then increase if needed. So this would be issue
This
10
is issue
where
10. Yeah.
they are now at the headquarters and beginning the well continuing the quest to get the next relic that they need. And
Nice.
this goes seemingly easy to start, but nothing ever stays that way.
Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yep. Well, yeah, that's kind of how like like I learned how with printing books. I start out trying to do like 22 pages
Mhm.
because that's kind of like the standard I learned. But every time I try to keep it at 22, my brain's like, "Nope, I need some more. I need to extend this so it actually makes
Yeah.
sense in the end."
Mhm.
And so when I got to the printing part, then I learned that it go by fours. So I'm like, okay, I need
Yes.
to. I'm like, this is a new goal because it's a
Mhm.
number four. So I was like, if I add more pages, I need to keep it at number four. So I'll go from like,
Yeah.
let's say 24. If I need more, I go to 30. If I need
Mhm.
more, I go to 34 or something like
Yeah.
that. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. Now I'm learning all the different processes of how to write the comic, then get the art, and then get to the printing. It's a whole
Mhm.
business by itself.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, I mean,
There's
that's why I started my own company because I control all my stuff and like I don't
Mhm.
have like an overhead.
Yeah.
So I'm like it's definitely a process, but it's worth it at the end, especially when you get the comic in your hand and you be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I made this.
Mhm.
Like this is actually real. I'm not dreaming right now.
Yeah.
Like when I tell you, when I got like my first comic book fully done and I got the printed one in my hand, I was a giddy kid.
Oh, yeah. It's
I
such
was
a
like,
good
this
feeling.
actually happened.
Oh, yeah.
It's so, oh my God, it's such an awesome process. And by the way, guys, the Kickstarter is in the description of this video. Make sure you back Immortal Era and get this book fully funded and let's get some stretch goals as well. This book is freaking beautiful. And look
Yeah.
look at this beautiful art, how it can and is this the same team for each cover that you've done with the
It
series
is.
since
It
you're
is
so
the
in okay.
same team for each cover. I issue 12, I actually have Fish Lee did the main cover, but the variants are all from Caesar. So yeah, that's my main artist, Caesar Oliveira, and then my main colorist, Maya Opasic, and yeah, she does a great job. And this one is just yeah, this it's showing all three of our characters that are now in the headquarters are all in a
Yeah.
huge adventure. So I wanted a cover that just kind of said, "All right, it's gonna be a wild one." So that's what this cover is just trying to show you. And
I also love how your artists make it look 3D. Like that is freaking
yeah,
cool. By the way. Oh my God. And then we're here at issue 12.
yes, now
What
we've
are the
made it. So that's all of our
all right.
kind of. If you want to read about what happens in those, you can go into the description. So this is issue 12. The three
All
covers you can
right.
see. The main one is
Nice.
by Fish Lee,
Officially.
and then the other two are both by Cesar Oliveira.
Two badass artists. They're
Oh
freaking
yeah.
awesome at their craft. Oh my God. And
So
I'm
this
actually, can we actually need
is
all three covers? Because they're all
yeah.
freaking cool. You make it really hard to choose which one to get, by the way. So thanks for that.
Yeah, so the main Fish Lee cover looks great, and this is his first time drawing the characters from the universe, and he nailed them. I mean, he got them on his
Oh,
first try. You can see he just, he got their
goodness.
personalities, but I also sent him pages to look at to see so he could just kind of get an understanding of who these characters are. Because if you don't know who the characters are, it's going to be hard to kind of nail that personality, but Fish, as you can see, definitely nailed it.
Wow. When you say the three versions of issue 12 are available, the supersized 28 issue,
Yeah,
and
so
the
it's
first
28
one is standard
pages.
print. Okay, nice. And what's the Holy Royal variant? I'm
Holofoil is
learning about
just
all these different colors,
it's
these different
printed on
colors.
a special kind of foil, and that will give it a
Ah,
lot of I mean, it's going to look beautiful, and you can't really take a picture. Holofoil doesn't photograph well, it just glares out. So you
oh,
gotta just
gotcha.
trust that it's gonna look amazing. And my holofoils always do really well. I've had I think 3 of the holofoils that I've done have actually sold out through the campaign, so nothing even
Nice.
makes it to the con tables, but for
Oh,
this
that's
one,
why
there's
you have them
still
limited. That makes sense why
yeah,
you
I
have them
only do
limited. Okay.
25. I try to make them really limited because that, for the collectors that are out there, they want something that's limited and they don't wanna think, "Oh, it's sold out, he'll just print it again." It's not how it's gonna go. It's when it's sold out,
Ah,
it
makes
stays
sense. This
sold
so
out.
smart, smart. And this is the officially covered,
Mhm.
full size, so you guys can see it. Dude, this is freaking cool. And does Caesar do the interiors? Like,
He
who
does.
does? Okay, okay, that makes sense. Alright. Nice. Oh, God. And this is the variant of Caesar.
That's the
Caesar,
foil
this is the
variant by
Caesar variant.
Caesar. Yeah, the next 2 are done by Caesar,
Nice.
so, yeah, I love how this one came out. The especially after she colored it, she just took it to
Yeah.
the next level.
Ah, and also, I really love how your company's in this finish line because you get to the finish line of your comics because because you finish it and don't give up on it. So that's actually very perfect name for your company.
And then that's our
Wow.
last variant that'll be limited to 25 copies as well. And that one, it's actually an homage cover to one of my other series, Corruptor. There's a cover, my variant for Corruptor #2 was just like this,
Mm,
but with the characters from that universe.
nice. And then now the hardcover and softcover trades where you can get issue
Yes.
7 to 12 as one book. And in the trades, are those like additional content you put in the trades that's not in the singles? Because I know a lot of
For
people
the
tend to do
for
that with
the
trades.
for the trades, you'll get both versions are going to include the the story that I did for the Tales from the Collective Initiative. So both will have that story, which is the short 6-page story that shows what happened when people gained immortality in Japan, and we'll see
Nice.
what happened when this immortality started, and it also introduces a major character for the third story arc, so that's going to be included in both versions. The soft cover is more bare bones. It will have the story, it'll have the main cover, but the hard cover is going to have the all the covers, the variants, the Comic-Con ones that I've done, and it's gonna
Wow.
have that short
Nice.
story as well, and then it's going to have another little, like, special feature section where any kind of write-ups or anything like that that I can put in there will add those as well.
Heck yeah. And you guys got some add-ons as well. You could get the Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales trades. Yeah, that's
And we
trades.
have volume 1 and 2. 2
So,
just
nice.
2 just got shipped, so I added that to the campaign. I need to add it into the actual
Nice.
body of the story so people know it's there. But yeah, it's available for the first time outside of the Cthulhu Invades Fairy Tales campaign.
Nice. You even have a pen set. 7
Hmm.
character pen sets available for issue 12. Nice. Oh, here's the t-shirts. That's all I was looking for. And you got
Yes.
some graded copies. Here's some t-shirts, guys, that you can actually get of the covers,
Yeah, and if
which
there's
looks
one that
freaking
you
awesome.
like from the cover gallery above, all you need to do
Mhm.
is message me. I have, like I said, 17 designs available. I'm just showing a few right there because to show
Yeah.
all 17, it would be a lot. But if you back a shirt, then you'll get all 17 to pick from. Then at that point, your
Heck yeah.
survey will have a lot of choices and you click on the one that you want.
Nice. Stickers, a water bottle, and even metal cards. Let's freaking go. And shout out to this awesome team, guys, for bringing this
Oh
project to
yeah.
life. I'm like, I know this guy because I'm talking to him now.
Hmm.
Uh, it's Caesar. How do you pronounce your name again?
Maya.
Um, Maya, Dan, yeah, I think this is Chuck, I
Yep,
believe.
that's Chuck Pino. He
Chuck
does the
Pennell, got
editing.
you. Nice. Well, guys, make sure you back Immortal Coil. I mean, I'm sorry, one book, Immortal Era. Sorry, so many books made. Immortal Era now on Kickstarter. It's 17 days left on this campaign. Let's get this sucker funded. Let me go back up right quick. Try. Okay, there you go. So much good stuff here. It's like 17 days to go, guys. We're halfway mark. Let's get this sucker funded and get some stretch goals.
Yes,
Yeah,
the stretch
well,
goal,
you
the
actually
first
have.
one unlocks
There we
at
go.
3,000. So
There we go. Nice. And like,
you'll get some
what
magnets.
that
People love the magnets. That's one thing I get a lot of feedback
heck
about
yeah.
is they're business card magnets, but they have the different
Yeah.
covers. And I've talked to
Man.
people that I meet at cons and things like that, and they're like, "Oh, my dishwasher or my refrigerator is covered with your magnets." And they're like, "Yeah, I have all of them." And I had someone who
Oh my
had,
god.
financial difficulties and had to skip a few of the campaigns. And when she finally got back in, she was like, "Can you please send me the magnets I missed? Because I really love the collection." And
Man.
yeah, it's something
That's beautiful.
I don't generally print many more than the campaign needs, so when a lot of the times, like for her, I told her I ran out, so I'll send you anything I possibly can, but a lot of them are sold out now. But in the end, the people love the magnets, stickers are always fun, and then we're hoping to get some cooler like metal cards and things like that. And if it really goes over the top, then we'll get a new character pin. But I haven't even written that in there. If once we reach 5,000, I'll add a couple more stretch goals.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah. I was like, guys, let's get this book funded. 12 issues in and get the singles to trade and some awesome gadgets like the magnets and some shirts and some hoodies. It's the link is in the description of this video while you guys are watching. And go support Ed as he's been supporting all of us. Let's get this book going, guys. This is freaking beautiful. Well,
Thank you.
what, brother, congratulations on 12 issues. Man, that is
Thank
impressive.
you.
I know it's hard, but it's impressive, man. Especially as an independent creator. Congrats to you. That's like I said, that's inspiration for me. And dude, I'm excited for the series. I have to, I'm definitely got to get the trades so I can read the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's better for me to get the trades than go just buying singles one by one.
That's kind of the way for
It's
people to get caught up now because I have sold out of most every like besides issues 1 and 2 because when you're doing a con, if people are going to buy it, they're not quite ready to commit to a full trade. They'll buy issues 1 and 2 sometimes because I told them issues 1 and 2 will give you everything you need to know if this story is going to be for you. And issue
yeah.
2, I wrote issue 2 in a way that it can stand on its own. Where once you
Mm,
get to issue 3, yeah, you need the other ones to really understand what's going
yeah,
on.
that
But
makes
for
sense.
issue
Yeah.
1 and 2, they can be read on their own. Issue 9 as well could because I wrote that as a standalone story. You would need to know, I mean, it helps to know the lore of the universe, but you could just dive in and you just get a good adventure story. And that, for those who are readers of the book, you get huge things that are going to have repercussions when we hit issues 17 and 18. There's a particular
Man.
scene I've already written that I'm so excited about that's going to be the cliffhanger of issue 17 into issue 18, and it's
Boy.
between the two characters we saw fighting on issue 6, Father and
Mm.
the other character Koa, and it's a big one. I can't wait.
Some fun rapid fire questions like to ease some tension off after doing a work part. So first, coffee or tea? Marvel or DC? Comics, animations, movies, TV shows.
DC.
Interesting.
DC, I mean, actually, here we go. I'll double
Okay.
that. DC for their
Okay.
animation, Marvel for their movies.
Ah,
And for
nice.
comics, I'm a
Okay.
Batman guy, so I got to go DC.
This,
And that's why they win animation because the Batman animated
right.
series is one of the most perfect things that's ever been created.
I'm just now watching it, so it's freaking cool.
I remember that
So,
dating myself as the old guy here. We had a I had a comic shop and they would do every weekday you could go in the
mm,
comic shop and watch the new episodes of the Batman animated series. And
wow,
nothing was more
that's
cool than
freaking
just
cool.
sitting in a comic shop full of your fellow comic geeks cuz this is before the Marvel universe and comics were the cool thing. It was when you were the nerdy
Yeah.
kid
Okay.
for reading comic books and you could kick
Yeah.
it with the other nerdy kids and just friggin' nerd the hell out on beautiful Batman animated stories.
If you if Immortal Era became like a movie or TV show or animation, who would be your dream casting?
Boy, that's a hard one because
And it could be deceased or alive, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I know there's this, I forget the guy's name, but he was a character, like just a little side character on the Flash TV series, and he looks just like the character father. So I think he would be really good. Yeah, I forget what it was, but he was like the prison guard in the Flash. So let me
Oh, I
see.
forgot his name, but I know you're talking. Yeah, I forgot his name though.
Let me see.
Are you looking it up? I know who
Yeah.
you're talking
So
about.
then you have I think Zoe Kravitz, after seeing her as Catwoman, I think she could be a good Ari for that main character.
Nice. Nice.
The one I'm trying to think of is who would be a good Miguel. And it's funny because one of my friends, he sees every movie. So he was telling me like, yeah, this is the character you want. Cause I mean, the thing about Kimberly, the blonde character, is in the beginning of the story, she just seems like she's kind of vapid and self-absorbed, but as the story progresses, her hero arc emerges where she's kind of very much the reluctant hero. She just wants to, you know, bury herself in fashion magazines and, you know, the newest hairstyles and dresses.
Hmm.
And for someone like her, you need someone who's seemingly kind of hollow and empty. So maybe like what's the one from The Housemaid? Is that Sydney Sweeney?
Sydney Sweeney. Yeah.
I think she might be able to pull it off because you have to have this full arc. And I was about to say something I shouldn't say, which would have been fully spoilery, but yeah, you have to kind
Right.
of
Gotcha. Gotcha.
rise from the vapid to the heroic to the question mark at the end. So
Yeah.
yeah, the
I
Miguel
got
is
you.
the
I got you.
tricky one of who I would want to cast for that one because you need someone who's kind of lighter because he's kind of I wouldn't call him comic relief because there's no just dumb laugh things that I throw in there. But if
Got
anyone
you.
throws bits of humor, it's him. So you need someone who
Makes
you
sense.
could believe is an absolute badass, but also kind of lots of humor. So he's the one. I don't know. It's like who do you cast for him? Who's the perfect one?
If you could, like, if you were stranded on a deserted island with one fictional character, who would it be?
Hmm. I'm stranded with a fictional character.
It
I'm
could be
trying
like
to
any,
think.
like from any story that you like, or like anywhere.
Yeah, because if I'm stranded, I want someone who knows some survival skills and won't kill me in the process. So I'm trying to think like, yeah, you know what? Throw me on there with Harry Potter. He's got magic. We'll be
You can
good.
teleport. You
He
can
can,
teleport.
he can teleport me off the stranded island, or he can also be like, you know what? This island's pretty good. I'm gonna build us. We're gonna pitch a tiny little tent, and I'm gonna turn it into an extravagant mansion on the inside. So full power Harry Potter, not like kid version, but end of book
I got
7
you.
Harry Potter. That's who you
Yeah,
can throw me on there
that's a
with
good
because
one.
my chances of
That's
survival are the best they could possibly be.
what's like your all-time favorite movie?
Oof. So you got, I mean, I think it's probably Pulp Fiction.
That's a good one. I
I think,
love for that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love the original Star Wars trilogy. I mean, that's my childhood right there. But Pulp Fiction was one that I got later in life, and I had this group of friends, and we saw that movie once a week, every week until it left the theaters. And it stayed in the theaters a long damn time. So I think we saw it like 13 times in the theater, and
Let's
like I
go.
know that movie inside and out. And honestly, I can still just pop it on at any time and be completely
No.
entertained.
Had a theme song. What would it be?
I think, yeah, I've had, you know what? I've done this question on my show and I always stumble on it. So you're throwing it back at me. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember it, so I had to add that in there.
so yeah, I think it just depends on what realm of my life I'm in. But in most of the time, I'm
Uh,
in like I'm gonna throw Metallica's "Seek and Destroy" on there because it's like that's my mentality in life. I'm gonna come at it and I'm gonna
oh
attack
my
it and
god.
I'm gonna take it over. So
Oh my
yeah.
god. Telling sharing your stories. Again, guys, go back, Immortal Era, and link it in the description of this video while you're watching. It's 12 issues in. Let's keep pushing this book out, get to fund it, get some stretch goals, and keep producing awesome comics, man. And support indie. But first, before we hop off, where can we follow you on social media to keep up with your updates?
You can follow me on all of my social media is under Finish Line Comics. I have Instagram. Make sure you do Finish Line Comics with no There's no underscores, there's no dashes, there are there's so many damn imposter accounts on my
Yes,
Instagram, and I report them, and Instagram does nothing for it. So
of course
follow
not.
the one that just Finish Line Comics, no dash, no underscore. So I have a YouTube channel, so you can follow me on YouTube where I do my 2 weekly shows. I have a Twitter/X account where I never do anything, so feel free to not follow that. And you
And
can
please,
follow
and
me.
also give a shout out to your shows since you mentioned it, so people
All
can
right,
also
so I
watch your shows
I have 2 shows. My one I do that Kevin's joined me on multiple
a
times is
thousand
Saturday
times.
Morning Comic Talk, and that one, I bring on 3 or 4 fellow creators, and I pick a few topics, and we just tell our answers and shoot the breeze and go on tangents, and then at the end, we talk about the campaigns. We try to make it where it's a lot of fun, and if you're in the audience, you could be interacting with us. So, yes, we're here to talk about our books, but we're also just here to talk and have fun. So that's my Saturday
Oh yeah.
show. And then I have a Wednesday show where I talk about a new album every week. I review an album, go into the history of the artist, whoever we're covering, and certain times we get artists to come on and do interviews with us. So my goal is always to have an artist who's willing to come on and talk about the music with us. So yeah, that if not, we're either covering an album or letting the artist tell it in their own words. So that's every Wednesday on YouTube as well.
It's like Kelso.com. If you see my logo behind me, that's how you spell it. And it's also my YouTube is also Kelso, and you can find Kelso Fate Podcast wherever you watch or listen to podcasts like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Instagram. I am Kevin Davis Official. And if you have TikTok, that's also Kelso. You don't have to follow if not on TikTok because not everyone's
Yeah.
there.
And I do have
But
TikTok. I didn't say that one. So yes, TikTok for Finish
I was
Line
like,
Comics as well.
awesome. And for some reason, I did have an X. It's also Kelso. I post there every now and then.
Huh.
But if you're there, I'm there too. But it's business, so I try to reach as much as I can. But again, my aunt cousin, Ed Davis, thank you for coming on. And guys, like I said, make sure you back Immortal Era out now on Kickstarter. 17 days, halfway there. It's nerve wracking, but we're almost
Oh
there.
yeah.
And let's push it out more, guys. Back it, get it funded, push the stretch goals, and have fun supporting the comics. And we will see you guys next time on Kevin C. Fade Podcast.